What is up, everybody? Welcome back to
Hello.
Remain Rome Return. How you doing, Christian?
Tired. I've been traveling too much, like weird traveling.
Yeah. Before we get into anything too serious here, Christian ended up driving to Oklahoma
Yes, in a day.
in a day.
I don't
Why
know.
was that, Christian?
Yeah, for people who aren't sports fans or in the States, right now is the NCAA basketball tournament, and Nebraska. I'm a huge Nebraska basketball fan, and so they had a tournament game in Oklahoma City, which is supposed to be a 6.5 hour drive, which it does sound very far, but for Nebraskans, they're like, oh, that's 40 minutes.
Right.
So the game
it's
was
a 40-minute flight.
Yes. And so the game was at like roughly noon on Thursday, and I could only take a day off because me and Damien were, of course, very clearly at that wedding in Phoenix. And so I woke up at 4 a.m., proceeded to drive, went to the game, and then drove straight back. So I drove 12 hours for a 2-hour game.
That's perfect. So that's why Christian's tired. And with us today, we have a return guest who's also tired because it's 6 a.m. their time. Ryan Estrada is back for part 2. He decided to come back and do us a favor and be on the show again. What's up, buddy?
I'm great. I'm here, and if anybody's watching this on video and is wondering, hey, it's 6 a.m. in your own home, why are you wearing the sunglasses of a radical 90s cartoon dog? It's because I thought it was less unsettling than this.
Nikes!
I don't know if you want to describe that for the audio listeners, what you just saw.
Allergic reaction?
Yeah, it looks like you got stung in both eyes by the same bee.
I don't know what I'm allergic to, but I'm allergic to something, and that just happens to me once a year. Nobody can figure out what causes it, and then I just, I feel fine. I just look like Violet Beauregard. Like my face is swelling up. It looks better than it did,
blowing up like a balloon.
But yeah,
is it a seasonal? Does it happen like the same time? Like you're like, oh, it's springtime. The eyes are just gonna be
randomly
puffy.
Whenever it feels like it.
Crazy.
Yeah, it used to happen whenever I found out. There was a long period where it would happen for long stretches, and then I couldn't get it to go away. And then I figured out that I'm allergic to cold medicine. So I would get sick and start taking medicine, and it would get worse. And I take more medicine and get worse. And I'm like, oh, this is what's making it worse. But
you go to the doctor.
So I still
you go to the doctor, and they're like, don't put it in your eyes, dude. You're supposed to drink it.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll go.
That sounds like a sitcom trope. Like, I'm allergic to the allergy medicine.
Yeah, I am literally allergic to allergy medicine. Yes.
That's crazy. That reaction was I'm really glad you waited to do that because that was great.
I was about to make a joke. I'm like, oh, did you get your eyes dilated? But like, who's going to the eye doctor?
What's the opposite of dilated?
Yeah, I literally cannot see anything right now. I'm just pretend like you're interviewing a blind man. When you spin the wheel.
All right, today we have Ray Charles with us today, everybody. So anyways, Ryan Estrada is back with us. We are so damn stoked for this. Yes. He was here a couple months ago. We promised a part 2 because realistically, it was about an hour of get to know you, and it turned into story after story of just awesome information. And you promised you'd come back and we could play a little game where we randomly select stories and you regale them to us. So if you don't mind,
sure,
we'd love to get started.
Let's do it.
All right, let me share my screen. I put in some work on this one.
You did. I totally spaced this. It makes it a little funnier that Ryan really can't see it. You put in all this effort.
Can you see this?
Are you asking me or Ryan?
Anyone?
There it is.
Yes.
Bueller?
Yes.
All right, here we go. We got a couple options here. I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel.
Okay, now we can't see this well. Oh, now. Okay. Ooh, the sound.
All right. The winner of the wheel spin is illegal Burma entry. Let's get into it.
Right. So, yeah, I mentioned last time that I volunteered in Thailand after the tsunami. I was kind of helping rebuild the city. I was digging toilets. I was helping remove debris and stuff. And once, I think it was a 2 month to 3 months visa, I would have to leave the country. And so I just kind of go on. I wanted to go to a different place every time. And, I told you last time how little research I do. And I'm just like, I'm just going to rent a
terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just going to rent a motorbike and I'll just drive it until I reach a border. There's lots of borders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Just any direction.
Yeah, exactly. And so I came up and I saw the signs for the Burmese border. And I go up and there's like there's a river in between. So there's some guys that have boats and like, there's signs that like, if you want to renew your visa, you can do it here. And you got to fill out some paperwork. And then you get in a boat and the guy like takes you across the river and he points you to, the counter where they stamp your passport. And so I do that. They stamp it and I walk into Burma. And so I'm just walking around for a few hours, trying to find like a hotel. The weirdest thing about when I was walking around Burma is all of a sudden this like little 6-year-old kid runs up to me. He's like, "What do you need? What do you need? I'm here. What you need? You need a hotel? You need some girls? You need some cocaine? Like I got you, man." I'm like, "No, I don't need any cocaine, 6-year-old boy. I'm good. I'm just trying to find a hotel. All right, I'll take you to place." I'm like, "No,
he's mature for his
I'll
age.
find my own place." Yeah. And he just kept hitting that cocaine and those prostitutes. He's like, really, like, "Look, I know some girls, all right?" And I'm like, "Please leave me alone."
I know what you're here for.
Yeah. And I'm walking around, and then I kind of loop back around near where the entry is, and then all of a sudden, like, I see my boat guy like waving frantically, and I'm like, "What is that dude doing?"
Yeah.
I walk over, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm walking around." He's like, "You weren't supposed to go into Burma." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, people do this just to renew their visa, but like they stamp in and they leave. Like, I already had you stamped out of the country. I had them stamp you in and out, and you just walked in with like, because it's like dangerous. People don't go. I assume that's what you wanted. Now you're in Burma illegally, and hadn't done any research. Like, I found out about like Burmese prisons. Not great. One of the things I read was about how the guards of some of the worst prisons entertain themselves by they had giant wicker balls that they put humans in and had elephants play soccer with them until they were crushed.
Oh my god.
Don't know if that was true, but that was something that people were like screaming at me when I got back and told them the story. But
that's wild.
And he's like, I'm like, "Okay, I'll come on the boat." He's like, "You can't walk past the security gate or they'll know that you were in the country illegally."
Yeah.
And so I had to like again, like in a sitcom where there's like the little window where the guy is and he's sitting there with his like gun, and I had to like get down on all fours and like creep past him and then get on the boat to leave. And not that I wasn't allowed to go there. Yeah, not that I wasn't allowed to go there, but because that's what this dude's job is helping people just get the visa renewed. He's like, yeah, that's what everyone does. They don't go into Burma. Like 6-year-olds will try to sell you coke and then you go to jail. Like, it's
well, nobody told me that, dude.
Yeah, like in this specific town, there are some very scary people who will like set you up and then use an excuse to arrest you, and then you'll be in prison for life. Like, you do not go in there. And so and then you especially don't go in there as an illegal immigrant. What are you doing, dude?
How long were you there?
Like an hour and a half.
On the land. Damn.
You think the boat guy would have said something being like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
really
this
should have
is the
mentioned that."
plan.
Right.
We're going to stamp you and stamp you out." And then like,
Yeah.
don't leave the side of the boat, essentially.
Yeah,
that should have been a
think-
pamphlet.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that like this random place I rode a bike to, there is no reason any foreigner would ever go there unless they're doing this. Like, that's specifically, there's no town there. It's just a little shack where you like do this. And so he's like, well, obviously he came because he knows the drill. Like,
Right. Wait, so you were there for an hour and a half. Other than the 6-year-old trying to get you hooked up, what did you do? Did you just walk around and look at stuff?
and just looking around, seeing the lay of the land with hotels and stuff. And, it was too early to like check into a hotel. So I was just kind of getting the vibes of like where I was going to stay. Really, that kid would not leave me alone. So the entire time was him following me around, like listing drugs he could sell me, or like he knew a guy who could sell me. And,
is this kid just like a little narc for the Burmese government?
Possibly.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. So did you end up staying in Burma after, like, you went back, got your visa and went back into Burma legally?
No, I just left, and I'm like, okay, I got my story out of this place.
Like, I'm not coming back here, dude.
Which is funny because you kind of said, this place is just known for that it had enough to say multiple hotels.
Yeah.
And not just a hotel or anything like that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that, like, I maybe that's why I was walking around for an hour and a half. Maybe I don't remember actually seeing one.
Yeah.
But just kind of getting the vibe of, like, where am I going to stay? But I didn't want to ask this kid where to stay because he's going to take me somewhere real freaky. But
he's
yeah,
like, I know a good place.
And I'm not saying, like, I would never go to Burma, but apparently this border town that I went to is not a place you want to go. Like, that's
right.
I'm talking specifically, as I was told by locals, you don't.
Yes.
Foreigners don't walk around there, bro.
Dang. And so you've never been to any other parts of Burma?
No.
Except for that. Okay. Yeah, after that experience, I don't think I'd go either. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Any follow-up questions, Christian?
No. So I guess, like, were you planning, you got your stamps and stuff, which you essentially needed to. So were you just, like, going back to Thailand, and then when you got to, like, the people back to where you were coming from, just being like, yeah, so I did this, and everyone was like, what?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And again, I don't want anyone, like, from Burma or Myanmar, as it's called by the current government.
I was about to say, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Burma.
Yeah, I talked to some people who were like, we still like to call it Burma, so I still call it that because I've heard some local people that say it's cooler to call it that. But they may have, again, I don't do any research. They may have been horribly incorrect about that. But yeah, I just I don't know anything because I did zero research and just showed up illegally.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, I definitely I'm trying to kind of plan a Southeast Asia type of a trip at some point, and Myanmar is on my list. So I'll message you privately and be like, what border did you cross? And I'll make sure to avoid going through that one.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be one you show up at with any planning. It's really, really, you just got to be riding a motorbike and be like, how about that one?
Yeah. Completely stumble in by accident.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. Let's go to this next one here because we got some stuff to move into. Next up is spin the wheel. The winner is I was really hoping we'd get into this one. Nude beach disaster.
Oh God, this sounds like a bad sunburn story. No.
All right. So you guys know how I travel. I don't plan things. I don't research things. My wife is not the same way.
Okay.
She likes to know exactly where we're going, exactly where we're staying. She likes to do package tours. She likes to have everything organized. And when we travel together, I do it that way. Yeah. How could she not want to accidentally have to sneak past armed guards to escape?
Yeah. God forbid she wants anything to be spontaneous.
Yeah. Women. No.
Women, dude.
I'm saying so many things here that I hope you don't take off context and put in TikToks.
We love our wives.
Doing a bit.
We love our,
yes. So yeah, we took a trip to the Philippines, and we were having an amazing time, but doing a lot of package toury things and taking, like, boat trips and things. One time we were staying on Boracay. Our trip was almost over, and it had been a great trip, but everything had been organized. And on the final day,
sounds like a nightmare for you.
It is. Yeah. I've calmed down with it. I used to, like, when I was traveling alone, if there were times where I accidentally got myself, like, I thought I was just booking transportation. It was a package tour, and I literally had a panic attack and couldn't breathe. Yeah. I'm chill now. I can handle a nice package tour because it's something different. But
see what happens when we plan stuff, babe? I go into anaphylaxis. My eyes swell up. I can't breathe.
Yep. So on our last day, she's like, hey, I booked this boat tour of some islands. And I'm like, for our last day, can we do something unplanned and unexpected? And she's like, all right, what do you want to do? And I'm like, crap, now I gotta say something. And I'm like, like, she canceled the trip she wanted to do, and now I'm like, the pressure's on. I have to, like, come up with something unexpected. But you can't plan something unexpected.
Yes,
sure.
And so I quickly, like, go online and I'm Googling, like, weird things to do nearby and going, like, down weird rabbit holes. And then all of a sudden I saw this TripAdvisor review for a secret private beach nearby that was the best place in the Philippines for European nudists.
Okay, perfect.
And I'm like, that is not my thing. I've never been to a nude beach and never wanted to go to a nude beach, but I'm like, that is a new experience.
Sure.
There are a few things left that are out of my comfort zone because I've done some weird crap, but I'm like, let's okay. I asked her, and she's like, why do you want to go there? And I'm like, I don't know, it's a new experience. She's like, fine, I'll go. I ain't getting naked if that's what you want. I'm like, that's fine. I read the review, and it said that that they do allow textile tourists. That's the term that they
okay.
And I read this review, and it's talking about how it's sometimes you go there and people are like shy to be the first one to the dance, like nobody's
Sure.
taking their clothes off yet, they're waiting for it, but like it's very open and welcoming. And I went to the website to get information on how to get there, and they talked about like the Philippines' best skinny dipping beach, and I'm like, great, let's do this. We got a taxi. I immediately didn't feel great about it when we got in this tuk-tuk, and the driver's like looks at me and goes, man, you're fat. And I'm like, going to a nude beach, not the time that you want to have a dude tell you're too fat to be the third person in a vehicle built for 8.
Oh no.
And
I would have a bad time there, I think.
And so we get there, and like there's this gate, and you pay a guy and you go in there, and we get there, everybody's still clothed. I'm like, textile tourists, it's fine. And we get there, and I'm looking at nobody else is skinny dipping, and so I'm just like, if we wait for someone else to be the first to dance, it's gonna take all day. So I take my clothes off, and I dive in this water, and it was like, because of the private beach, this is like the clearest water I've ever seen in my life. Like I'm diving down,
there's no hiding.
I'm seeing like the entire cast of Finding Nemo, like surrounded by clownfish. Like I'm seeing like brightly colored coral, and it's just like amazing because I feel like this is like one with nature, like stuff here, where I'm like, this is one of the most beautiful experiences of my life, that I feel like I'm a caveman, like in the water, like I'm not, like, just me and
That's
nature.
awesome.
And it's this beautiful experience. And then I look up, and I see this dude in like his hotel uniform, like waving his arms, freaking out. And I'm like, what's that dude doing? And he's like waving me over. So I walk up, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm swimming. And he's like, why are you naked? And I'm like, because we're on a nude beach. He's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, what? And I'm like,
there are children here.
Yeah. And he's like, where did you see it was a nude? I'm like, online. And he's like, well, if someone posted a review that said that it's a nude beach, like we can't control people posting reviews, but it's not. And I held up their own website that said the best skinny dipping beach. And he's like, is that what skinny dipping means?
So lost in translation.
Yeah. So apparently what I eventually learned is that they thought skinny dipping was just a cool English word for swimming. And then during their
thought
off-season,
it was skinny dipping, like like that's why he called you fat. If you're gonna go skinny dipping, you're not. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a direct translation. Skinny people dipping in the water.
To be fair, like if someone is directly like translating the term skinny dipping into their language, you would not get like, hey, that means swimming naked. Like skinny dipping. Why is it called skinny dipping?
I don't know.
Like versus like skimping, skippy dipping.
I don't know. But apparently, some like European nudist read that, and then came in the off season when they were like the only ones there, so they didn't get in trouble. No one noticed. And then they wrote this detailed review about about how it was the best place for European nudists, and that review had just gone up. So I was the first person to fall for that. I Googled this at the exact wrong moment, and now I'm standing there like one hand covering my bits and looking around at all these families and children. And as this is happening, a Korean tour bus pulls up, and little old ladies start coming out. And then we had paid to go to this beach, and I'm like, I'm not leaving now. We just stayed there the rest of the day and just were horribly embarrassed. But
this isn't sunburn. I'm just really flush.
Yeah. So it was that was my disaster. It was not a nude beach.
That is one of the best pranks I've ever heard of, actually, and they got you real good.
They did.
They're like, sir, this is the Hilton.
Yeah. And now for me, it would be called skippy dipping, and it's just me dunking into a bowl of peanut butter.
It sounds like the worst sex move ever.
Well,
just dipping your bits. Right. Just dipping your bits into some peanut butter.
Peanut punter.
So what's your wife doing in all of this situation? Is she just standing on the sidelines in horror?
God, this guy. Yeah, she's just, oh my God, what is happening right now? Why did he?
She's like, I just wanted to go on a catamaran tour. Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
That's the best.
Where you're just like, babe, toss me my undies right now, please. I need, just toss me anything.
Like, I had drifted. So like she was sitting on a towel with my shorts, like a 5 to 10 minute walk away. And I'm just like, slowly like, I'm going to go get my
You're just doing the Bigfoot walk past all these kids. Hey, kid, how we doing?
Thank God it wasn't in Burma, apparently.
Yeah. Catch a case.
Yeah, apparently public nudity is not a thing that you do in the Philippines. When Filipino friends hear the story, they're like, you did what in the Philippines?
Because
again,
it is a
could have wound
very
up in jail.
Yeah, because it's a very Christian nation, if I remember correctly, or like very anti-drug as well.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, I'm not sure at the time you were visiting.
So yeah, that was my nude beach disaster.
That is certainly a disaster. But kudos to you, because I sure as shit would not be caught dead being the only naked person on a beach. So good for you. Spinning the wheel here. Oh, all right. We got a repeat.
No, wait. Is that a repeat or is that something different?
No, it's a same one.
It said, no, there was a different one. He has 2 skinny dipping stories.
You have 2 skinny dippings?
Oh, yeah, skinny dipping.
Oh, this one's with piranhas.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that one. And then we'll go into Imprisoned in India, because we're talking about catching a case, and it seems like you might have. So let's do the skinny dipping with piranhas first.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I gave you 2 skinny dipping stories. But yeah, so my wife and I were traveling through South America, and we were in Peru. And we decided we want to take an Amazon riverboat tour. And this was not like the boat tour we were going to do in there. This was not like a package tour. There's literally like a town you go to, and there's a bunch of local guys that like take you out in their personal like boat, and like the kind of river trip that like when the boat gets stuck, you got to get out and help push.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just like a canoe.
Is this story before or after the Philippines?
Good question.
This was before.
Okay.
But we're like alone, the only humans for hundreds of miles. So it's not really the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up like, this is a whole other story, but like the weird thing about going to this place is that like in order to get there, we had to like we had traveled along the west coast of Peru, and then we thought we were just gonna like zip over to this town, and then found out that like it's all jungle, you can't go there, so we had to travel all the way back up and then all the way back down the other side, and it took like 3 days to get there. And along the way there was like a cocoa war. The president had like declared a war on these cocoa farms, and like there were Molotov cocktails and tanks, and we ended up getting stranded and having to like it. That's a whole other story, but we ended up eventually getting.
We
gotta
add this to the list now.
Yeah. And we're going with this guy, this local guy, and it's just us and him in this boat, and he's taking us down the Amazon and taking us to like these little campsites that only he knows about, like these little like native villages and all stuff, and it's really beautiful places he's taken us. And then he's like, I'm a vegetarian, but like his big thing was he would like catch piranha to cook for dinner. And so he's like literally like plucking piranha out of the water with his bare hands and cooking them. And then and he's like and I'm like, isn't it scary to put your hand in there? And he's like, no, it's fine. Like they're not going to bother people. And now at this time I was doing a YouTube series where like people gave me missions as I traveled, and I would like make videos solving them. And one of them had been to go skinny dipping. Okay. And so I was like, what if I went skinny dipping with piranhas? Because this dude says there's no problem. Yeah, good and for content. So like that would make a funny video. And so like I jumped in the water and I'm swimming with these piranhas. They did not bother me at all. And then I just took my shorts off and waved them over my head. And my wife's like, what are you doing, you idiot? And yeah, it was fun. I put him back on, just kind of swam with the piranhas for a little bit. And then we got back in the boat. He took us, he made dinner. And then at night, he took us back out on the boat to the exact same spot where we've been skinny dipping. And we put his hand in the water again and pulled out a baby crocodile. And I'm like, were these there the whole time? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, when I was swimming? And he's like, yeah, but they were sleeping. I'm like, yeah, here. Like I could have.
This dude just does not have a care in the world. at all.
Yeah. And I'm just like, you did not tell me. They're like, it's a little one. I'm like, yeah, where's its mom? He's like, we're right around here. I'm like, so the piranha are fine, but you just didn't mention the fact that there are crocodiles here.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't ask about the crocodiles, man.
Yeah.
You were only concerned about the piranhas, so I only told you about the piranhas.
Yeah, we had done so many things trusting this guy because he's an expert. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to be safe.
Yeah.
And then after the trip is done, he invited us to his house to meet his family. And we went in.
That's where the tiger comes in.
Yeah. So we get there and he explains to us that he has a witch doctor that tells him how to keep his family safe. And the way that he keeps his family safe is he taught all of his children how to smoke because his witch doctor said it's good for them. And we're sitting there with his literal like 1.5-year-old baby just sitting there like,
dude, hell yes.
I'm like, you're the dude that we trusted with our lives for a week.
He's like, don't worry, I smoked extra before you got here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then after that, he's like, do you want to meet my witch doctor? And my wife's like, no. And I'm like, yes. And then he took us to meet his witch doctor.
Yes.
And now I expected, like, I don't know what I expected, but when we get there, he literally takes us to like a machine shop and goes in and asks the guy working in the machine shop if he can take his break. And he comes, like, he literally just, witch doctor's a part-time thing. It's real.
Yeah, it's
my day job is working machine shop. And he comes out in just like cut off jean shorts and no like all sweaty like pot belly and comes out, what you need some witch doctor stuff, come in my shack. And he takes us in and one by one he sits me and my wife down in this chair and he just has a wall full of like liquid, brightly colored liquids and like old Coca-Cola bottles. And he just starts swigging them, like doing, swash them around his mouth and then spitting them on us.
Jesus.
And then be like, okay, you're good. I'm like, what does this do? He's like, you're good. Just go. I'm like, what was this for? You're good. That'll be $100 each.
That's some witch shit. That's for sure.
I was gonna say my westernizer like brain wants to be like, you got scammed, but also like that could just be.
I don't know anything about witch doctors.
Yeah,
I have no idea, but that's what he had us do. Taught some babies to smoke. And then as we're leaving, Hensick's like, I don't think that really did anything. My wife.
Yeah.
Like,
that turns out that witch doctor just works as an agent for like Marlboro. He's just getting kids smoking.
Actually, he's part of that Alvin and the Chipmunk song.
Yeah, exactly. That's so crazy. Wait, so I wanted to say, I love how in the Philippines, you essentially experience two of the three. Growing up in like the 80s and 90s, there were three things that everybody was scared that they would encounter in real life: crocodiles, piranha, and quicksand. And you basically just missed the quicksand. And I was like, this guy, this expert, I'm surprised he didn't be like, oh yeah, the quicksand, don't worry about that. It's no big deal. And you're like, quicksand? That's so funny. Oh my God. That is classic.
How did you end up with this specific man? Like, did you just show up to a village and just be like, I need a boat guy? And they're like,
yeah,
that's the boat guy.
When you show up, there's just a bunch of guys standing on the dock and they have little like laminated flyers of like how much it costs to hire them to take you out. And that's the guy we picked.
Yeah.
But it was a great trip. Like he took us to this village where like he's only allowed there because like he knows them, like you can't go there any other way. And he took us to like this pond that was like, a pond in the middle of like an island where like we're riding this kayak through like flowers and like the flowers part as we go and like climbing up trees and picking us fresh coconuts. And it was a beautiful trip. Saw like neon pink baby dolphins jumping in front of our kayak.
Yeah.
Like, it was an amazing trip.
Wow.
Just really glad I didn't get eaten by a crocodile.
Yeah, for real. Or piranha. Or drowning in quicksand.
Yeah.
So that was the Philippines. Now we got to get into
Peru. That was Peru.
Or I'm sorry, Peru.
Yeah.
Now we got to get into India and catching a case in India. I have to hear about this.
Okay, so
buckle up. Here we go.
So when I was living in India for a while, I was working in a call center. I was like the American trainer, but they hired me to be a trainer for their employees. But it turned out that their employees were too busy working for me to ever train them. I was literally just there because it looked good on paper for them to hire an American, and I'm just there with nothing to do. for like 2 years and just kind of going stir crazy, locked in this call center.
You're like in Japan when they just hire a white guy to look good in meetings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you said you did. Yeah, you said you did something like that. That's funny.
I'm remembering another story I should have added that I don't want to go off on too big of a tantangent, but it's a funny story.
Go on off tangent. That's the theme of this podcast.
Yeah.
More than an actual theme.
All right. Since we're talking about the white guy in meetings.
Yes.
Yeah. So I literally went stir crazy because like it's in a call center, so I can't even bring like a piece. Not only I can't bring my phone, I can't bring a piece of paper because like they're afraid I'll be writing down social security numbers. I'm literally like everyone else is working harder than anyone has ever worked in their life, and I'm just like to do like what do I do?
Yeah.
I started like literally like exploring to the point that like I found ways to climb into the ceiling, and I'd like crawl around the ceiling like a ghost, and I'd plot out like I'd map the ceiling and like crawl above my friends' desks, and I'd like pick up the like ceiling tiles and just go psst, and they'd look up and see a pair of eyes, and I'd snap it shut, and then I'd run back down and I'd walk by their desk, and they'd be like freaked out looking at the ceiling. I'd be like, what's wrong? And they're like, no, nothing. They don't want to admit that they saw an eye staring at them from the ceiling. I realized later that I left India without ever telling them that it was me.
Yeah.
But
you're part of folklore now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway, like I knew all these little secret corridors and stuff. But one day, all the bosses were the other ones that didn't actually do anything. Like they're giving their employees way too much work, but they're not doing anything. And they were one day,
sounds right.
They're all complaining about this really this meeting they got to go to, and I'm like, wah, like you got to do one thing and go to a meeting.
Yeah.
And but I mean, they did have these weekly meetings that were very, very boring, and I'm like, I'll spice it up for you. So they start leaving their meeting because I know these secret corridors. Like I got there before them, and I'm like, here's what I'm gonna do. There's this tiny cupboard, and I'm a giant man, but I'm gonna squeeze into this tiny cupboard, and when my friends come in, I'm gonna jump out of the cupboard and say "rawr," and they'll be very surprised. It'll be very funny.
Sure.
I am stir crazy. This is not funny, but I am convinced it's gonna be the funniest thing in the world. And I'm sitting in this cupboard like, and I hear more people coming in, and more people coming in. I hear all my friends' voices, and then I heard a voice that I didn't recognize, who introduced himself as the vice president of Citibank. Not Citibank India, the Citibank Corporation, one of the largest financial institutions in the world.
Out of like probably New York City.
Yeah. He had just gotten off a plane to come talk to the Citibank call center about the future of their partnership. And I'm in a cupboard like, oh no, I can't jump out now and say rawr. And so he leans on the cupboard that I'm sitting in and says, we're going to have a 4-point conversation about our partnership going forward. And I'm like, I guess I just gotta stay in this cupboard. Now, again, I'm a large man. My neck is literally 90 degrees. My knees are touching my ears. And it's like particle board. And I'm sitting there for hours. And it's also incredibly hot in here, so I start sweating so much that it's literally pooling at the bottom and oozing out through the crack. And my neck feels like it's on fire.
Why is this cabinet crying?
And this dude's talking. Eventually, because I'm a large man sitting on particle board, eventually the particle board under me snaps, and you hear, and the room stops. Everyone's silent, and then starts the meeting again. And he keeps on talking, and then the next problem is I realize that I have to pee. We're 2 hours in at this point.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh no, when is he gonna take a break? And I'm just like sitting there, I'm concentrating so hard on holding in my pee that I ripped the nastiest fart I have ever ripped in my life. Two problems with this. It is very loud.
Yeah.
And again, the meeting stops, but all these people in the room think that is the vice president of Citibank that has just done this.
This is a funny
because
prank,
he's leaning on the cabinet. And everyone stops, and then he starts his meeting again. The next problem is I am now in a cupboard trapped with the smell and gagging, trying not to throw up. So I
shouldn't have gone with that tofu curry last night.
Yeah. So I can't open the cupboard. So I just start gently pushing it like so it cracks open just enough for a little waft to come out. And as I do that, the smell like wafts across the conference room, and you can hear like people in the front coughing, people in the middle coughing, people in the back coughing, and I just keep doing it more and more. And then this is, I think, maybe 2.5 hours in. And then the vice president of Citibank says, and now on to step 2.
No!
This is a 4-point plan. So all of a sudden I'm like, I can't do it anymore. And I just roll out of this cupboard, so drenched in sweat, I look like a drowning victim. Fall out on the floor, and the rest of the smell explodes out of this cupboard. Everyone's frozen. The vice president of Citibank is directly above me, like, what the hell is this? And I was so delirious that I just went back to my original plan and I said, "Rar," and I ran out of the room. And no one ever mentioned it to me again. But the next time their contract came up, they didn't renew it. So I don't know if I shut down the call center, but I couldn't have helped. Yeah, that was my tangent. I didn't even get to the story you picked yet.
That's all right. That's great.
Because you said you were imprisoned in India, and I thought that was the story.
No, that was not the story. That was the tangent.
The tangent.
You did that one yourself.
Again, very sitcom-y of like someone being stuck in a place they shouldn't be, and then just having to just live there.
So
that's funny.
To get to the actual imprisonment. So the other thing in this call center was that there was this girl at the call center that everyone else was always busy, but she was always nice to me. She always took the time to talk to me, and we had this kind of like friendship, and we start hanging out like outside of work. But it was always like, I don't know what this relationship is. Like her, like we got very close, but like her parents were setting up an arranged marriage. Like it was never any conversation of like a relationship. But like something was happening there, and my contract was about to end. I was about to leave, and I'm like, I still don't know if we have a relationship at all. Yeah. But one day she just says to me, I'm gonna miss you when you're gone, and I said, I'm gonna miss you too. And she's like, I have this fantasy that there was some place where we could be together and we wouldn't have to worry about what other people thought. And I'm like, well, you could come with me. Yeah. Because I was traveling to another country at that point. I was going to get a house, and I'm like, you come with me. And she said yes. And
wow, okay.
We decided that I would go first. I would get the place set up while she was working on her visa, and then she would come follow. And so we set that all up. I left, and I was waiting, and like we ended up like talking all day because she was working at American Call Center. She was up all night. Again, we did. She was in a call center where you couldn't even bring in a piece of paper, but I kind of hacked Citibank to set up an instant messenger that she could use. Technically we could have used this to pull off the largest financial crime in human history, but instead we use it to flirt.
There you go. Okay.
It was not a hard hack. They have terrible security.
That's so funny.
So if you have Citibank now.
Well, that call center no longer exists because I farted in a cupboard. So don't worry about that.
She was like, I heard his story about him popping out of a cupboard and yelling "roar," and I was like, I knew I had to be with that man.
If you were of Indian descent, I would guess that's what the movie Indian in the Cupboard was about.
Yeah. So as another tangent, it was very easy to hack because we realized that they had blocked the internet, but they still needed to use all the Citibank websites like Citibank and City Mortgage. But instead of whitelist those sites, they just blocked any site that didn't start with the letter CITI. So I just registered my own website that started with CITI and had an instant messenger app on it. Not very hard. But as we're chatting one night, we'd been apart for a couple months and talking about how much we missed each other, and she said, I have this fantasy that one day I'd be at work and I'd finish a call and I'd turn around and you'd be there holding a flower and it'd be so romantic. And I'm like, oh, that'd be very romantic. Too bad we can't do that. And I hung up. I'm like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And so I had saved up a bit of money for this move and to get this house ready. But in like a last minute trip to India, and you had to like go to America, I had to go to Chicago to get a visa, stay overnight. Then I had to go there. It was a whole thing that took up like a quarter of my life savings. But I'm like, I gotta pull this off.
Yeah.
And then within like 48 hours, she's in a call center. She finished the call. She turns around. I'm there holding a single rose.
Wow.
And she's like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, you said I should do that." She's like, "When did I say that?" And she's like, "Do you remember that we're a secret? Like that was a whole thing?" And I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh."
shit.
And then everyone else on the call center is looking at us, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." And she's like, I'll meet you after work. Just like, and then, um, after that, she's like, you know, okay, I did not expect you to show up here. I have to go home right now. Just stay. She like took me to a hotel, and she's like, just stay in this hotel, and I'll contact you because I just showed I didn't have a phone, anything. She's like, I'll call you when I can meet up. And so I stayed in this hotel for a week, waiting. And I tried calling. It would be either like, "Why are you calling me?" Like I'm asleep, like I work nights, or like I'm with my family, I can't talk, or I'm on my way to work. And like I didn't have a phone. I didn't have Wi-Fi. I didn't have Windows in this hotel. It was not, but I couldn't change hotels because she would have no way of contacting me, or I couldn't get her information. So I went from talking to her constantly from another continent to never interacting with any human being. Like I'm paying for a hotel in one country and rent in another country.
Yeah.
And I can't work while I'm here. I don't have a computer. I don't have Wi-Fi. I can't contact anyone in the outside world. And I can't even leave this hotel because she's just going to at some point call this hotel phone.
Yeah.
So like if I go, she won't be able to reach me. And I'm afraid to even go out to get food. So like once a day I run across the street and get enough food for 3 meals and run back and just sit and wait by this phone. And like I said, no windows. After a week, like my skin is clammy. I'm losing weight. And all of a sudden the final day I'm just like, I gotta talk to her. And so I call, it rings, disconnects, rings. I did this for like 10 minutes and I'm like, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have come here. I went to an internet cafe. I booked a ticket home. Another last minute ticket, took another quarter of my life savings.
Damn.
And then I go back to pack, and as I open the door, the phone is ringing.
Oh my God.
And she invites me to lunch. So I go meet lunch, and she's lovely conversation. She's happy. She's chatting like nothing had happened, telling me all the latest gossip in the call center. And then when she's done, I say, so I leave in an hour. And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, I booked a ticket to go back. You know, we can, I had a week here, but we can meet when you come there.
Right.
And she was very upset about it and basically said, "If you leave, you're never going to see me again."
What?
And I'm like, but you didn't even want to wait. But then I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, you get your visa, you'll come, we'll be together, like just like the original plan. And I'm like, did they tell you when your visa's coming? And she didn't answer. I'm like, did you apply for the visa? She hadn't even applied for the visa.
Oh no.
So I got on the airplane. And then I'm sitting on this airplane, and all of a sudden I start feeling really bad because like my only experience with romance was like watching rom-coms where it's like, sure, there's always some kind of misunderstanding and some kind of like a declaration of like you're never going to see me again. But then like all it takes is like some great big romantic gesture, like showing up here with the flowers. That one didn't work.
Rose, yeah.
But yeah, it's like, but like there must be a way to fix it. Like we can't leave it like that. And I'm thinking of, and then like all of a sudden I'm like, what, this can't end like this. And then they start closing the doors, and I suddenly, without thinking, I get up and I scream, "I'm getting off the plane!" And everyone's looking at me like I just said I'm hijacking the plane. And I'm way in the back, so way up front, the flight attendant's like, "What?" And I'm like, I'm getting off the plane. Everyone's nervous, and I realize, I forgot to say a part. Because I'm in love. And then everyone around me
gets up and slow claps.
Yeah. It was literally like there were like 2 people who were just like, is this what I do? Oh no, we're not doing that.
Dude, that would be me.
Yeah, we're not doing that. All right, what is this guy doing? Yep. And I like grab my bags and I start running like slow motion, like we're gonna do this. And then I get up, she's like, you can't get off the plane. And I'm like, why? She's like, because like if a crazy person screams I'm getting off the plane and runs, we have to deboard everyone and check to make sure he didn't like leave a bomb. Like you can't just do that. Like like and I'm like, but I'm in love though.
But don't I get a pass?
Yeah. So I got detained. I was taken to immigration and put in a holding cell for like an hour, 2 hours, something like that. And I see outside the window, there's like very stressed, sweaty, like officials like arguing and looking at me and arguing. And they literally like had to take apart the plane and take out every bag and like scan stuff. And I saw, and because that flight had been delayed, it created this chain reaction where I look up at the departure board and everything's turning to delayed. I shut down this airport. And after a couple of hours, they take me out and they take me into the room with this another very sweaty immigration official. And he's like, so we took apart the plane. We're on some dogs. No problems there. Do you swear that you're not like a terrorist? And like, this is just a weird thing. I'm like, I swear. And he's like, okay. So the problem is you had a single entry visa and you already left. Like, I can't just let you back in the country.
Right.
And I'm like, but I'm in love though. And he's like, okay, fine. All right. I don't know if this is a thing, but I'm just going to scribble out your exit visa with a pen. And he like scribbled something and wrote, and he handed me my passport. And at first he wrote something. At first I thought it said sexy officer. And I'm like, is that your signature? But it said self offload, which is apparently what it's called when you scream, I'm getting off the plane. And he's like, I'm just going to write this here. You can go in, and when you leave, just come up to me, and I'll just kind of
come find me.
We'll just pretend this never happened.
Right.
And so, and I'm like, okay, thank you. And he goes, well, and I'm like, well, what? He said, go to her.
No, he did not say that. That's so funny.
He did.
So did music start playing?
In my head, it did. So I'm running through this airport. I run out to the tuk-tuk. I'm flying across the city. I run into this call center. Again, I should not have been allowed in this call center. I did not work there. Not great security.
No security.
I go up. She finishes her call. She turns around. She sees me there and is like, what are you doing back? I got dumped almost immediately.
No,
had to
it's
use
raining
inside
for some reason
to get another last minute ticket because I had voided my previous one. Yeah, I basically spent my entire life savings to get dumped and be detained and accused of terrorism.
I am so shocked you didn't have to pay any fine for shutting down. First a flight and then an entire airport.
That's the power of love.
Yeah. That is insane that like the Indian government was just like, this happens, man, you know?
I should have had my passport ready to show you his little weird stamp. Let me see if
a little scribble. I'm sure at one point when they're searching for the bombs and everything and they don't find one, I'm sure he's sitting there with you and just going, at this point, I wish it was a bomb.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Self offload when he scribbles out passport stamp.
That's so funny. Oh my god!
Canceled. Self offload canceled, and then just some loop de loop scribbles.
Wow.
I also love how he was like, when you come back here, hopefully I'm here so you can find me to get out of India.
Yeah, I went back like the next day, and he's like, go right ahead.
That's what we
expected that. Yeah. Not a word was spoken. Just
oh my god!
Just a disappointed face.
Just eye contact as he stamps your thing again. Just here you go. That's crazy.
Here you go, lover boy.
Yeah. The weirdest thing about the ending, like I always skip this part because it's a long story, but the weirdest thing about the ending is that like after I went back the next day, she actually like introduced me to her parents, which was the big problem, and they loved me.
Yeah.
And she still dumped me.
Damn, dude. It's
very clear. Does your wife know the story?
Yeah, she does. And I always say that like what I learned from that is that like, you know, love is not like a rom-com. It's you really, things come from communication, not from like grand comedic gestures. And like now with my wife, we like communicate our what we're thinking, and like there is a difference between having a fantasy and like actually wanting that thing to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So learned a lot from that story.
Yeah, because that is something that is true. Because I've had my fair share of heartbreaks and things like where you put in all this effort, and it is a situation of like, no, they just want to know that you care, but it gets creepy to them if you start doing all these grand gestures and you're like, oh, I thought that's what you wanted. They're like, no, that's what my soul wants, but the rational part of me just wants to be able to have a decent conversation with somebody.
Yeah,
that's so funny. All right,
I feel like I have an uncle who also lost his life savings because of a woman in a call center. That one didn't land, did it? Nope.
You can't see me, but I'm laughing. That was good. That's good. Was she Russian?
I can hear. Thank you.
Oh, here we go.
He was rushing to the bank to get her to stop. We were lagging.
Are we lagging? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. The winner this time is Biblical Plagues.
All right. So, I mentioned that I was living in Thailand. I was on an island called Koh Phi Phi, cleaning up after the tsunami. And it was kind of a scary time because a lot of people had like come in to help fix up the like this town and help people recover, but nobody knew like why this tsunami had come, and nobody knew if another one was coming.
Oh.
And there was this constant fear of like this could happen again at any second. And one day one of the locals, like I was working, and this old man was just sitting there with like these traumatized eyes, and he's talking about like, and he just says to me, listen to the animals. And I'm like, what? And he goes, listen to the animals. The animals knew before we did.
Sure.
Like before the tsunami came, like all the elephants were running up the mountains. The monkeys were freaking out. Our cats were like yowling. Like all the animals were acting up because they knew something was coming. So keep an eye on the animals. If they start acting up, you know that it's time to head to higher ground. We're living on an island. There's no higher ground. There's like nothing we can do but like watch that. And he said the other thing is that like before the water comes up, it goes down. So if the water retreats, the tsunami's coming back. And so I kind of kept that in mind. And then there was one night where it was like Friday night, and the entire town was out. Like Friday night was everybody's working hard, like doing deep like manual labor. And then Friday night, it's like, now it's time to party and relax. I was the only person who went to bed early because I'd worked really hard the night before drawing comics in my room, so I was very sleepy. And so I'm in like like in the middle of the island, like surrounded by trees, like this little like bungalow made of bamboo that I'm staying in, and I was asleep. And I had this thing where like, like in movies where like someone's having a nightmare and they suddenly jolt awake and they're like, oh, okay, it was all a nightmare.
Yeah.
This was the opposite of that because my dream was great. Like I'm having this very nice dream, chilling out on the beach, like nothing's wrong. And then I wake up into the nightmare because in my room was a plague of locusts.
Oh, what?
And I look up and I just see insects covering every surface, filling every cubic inch of air. And I'm like, what? And like, it looked like disco lights because I'd fallen asleep with the light on. It's just beams of light shooting in between these things. And as I'm looking at that, suddenly I realized like, wait, and I realize every inch of my body is covered in these locusts, and I'm freaking out. I don't know why this is happening. And I start running outside, and I'm oh wait, I'm naked. Like and so I grabbed I grabbed a pair of shorts. They did not fit me because I've been doing manual labor in the sun for months, but like I'm not going back in to get my belt. So I put on these like way oversized pants and just holding them up, and I'm going around. It's pitch black dark. I didn't grab my glasses. I'm night blind, and I'm just like stumbling through the dark. And all of a sudden, the locusts are outside too. And I'm going up, and all of a sudden something like hits me in the leg. Like it felt like this giant water balloon and bounced off me, and something else bounced off me. And I look down, and it's giant frogs hitting me, and I'm like, wait, plague of locusts, rain of frogs.
Yes.
I'm talking like giant frogs like hitting me. And then all of a sudden I hear this sound, and I look up.
That's not terrifying.
And there's these yellow eyes staring down at me from trees. And I realize all the cats have gone for higher ground, and they're in the trees yowling. And which made it extra terrifying that this island, because it's an island and all the cats were kind of like inbred, they all had they were all like twisted, like their tails are twisted, but they all had the exact same design, which was a black patch under their nose and a black patch on top. So they're all Hitler cats. And I'm like, wait, plague of locusts, that's from the Bible. Rain of frogs, that's from the Bible. Hitler cats going for higher ground, not in the Bible, but not great. And I'm like, the tsunami is coming, and or the end of the world.
Yes.
And I'm like, nobody else is here. I need to find where everybody is. And I'm running through like, again, this is the middle of the jungle. So like I'm running, it's like I didn't grab my shoes, and I'm just running night blind, holding up this pair of shorts and just cutting my feet up with these sharp rocks that I'm stepping on, just blood pouring out of my feet as I'm running and like hitting trees and stuff because I can't see. And I make it to the end. I go over the hill and I see everyone else is just having the time of their lives partying on the beach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they don't know what I know.
Yes.
I have to tell them. I have to break it to them that it's the apocalypse.
Jesus
now,
is
like,
coming.
I'm like 90% sure that there's about to be a tsunami, but like I'm not totally sure, so I don't want to just go in and be like tsunami's coming and like re-traumatize all these people. So I'm trying to find some people that I know to tell them, but the problem is, again, I'm night blind and I have my glasses, and so I'm just walking up to every person in the bar and like well, you can't see it because my eyes are swollen, but I'm like squinting and like getting like an inch from their face and be like, I don't know you. And again, I am holding up shorts that are like far too big for me and just like not covering much. And I'm just like, no, don't know.
And
you
got bloody feet.
Yeah. And I'm like, I look like a crazy person. And eventually I found a guy that like I kind of knew, like I'd met him, but like I didn't really know his name. And I'm like, dude, Plague Locust, ran of frogs, Hitler cats and trees, watch the animals, we're all gonna die, tsunami's coming, and like I'm panicked and he's calm. He's like, look, all right, guys, that cartoonist guy is wasted. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. No one believe me. So I'm like, look, okay, the water is still at the normal level, so I know it's not coming yet. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go march down to the beach. I'm gonna sit in the sand. I'm gonna watch the water level, and if the water suddenly goes down, that's when it's time to start like right of Paul revering it up. And like telling everybody to get there. Again, middle of an island, nowhere to go to, but like let's I don't know what we're gonna do. So I'm sitting there, and again, night blind, so I'm just like, wait, I think it's there, it's still there. And then almost immediately fell asleep and face first in the sand. And then I wake up the next morning, my pants had long since given up covering anything, and I just wake up face down, ass up in the sand, and like, oh, people are like starting to go to their like morning shifts, and they're like, how's it going, guy? And I'm like, hi. No tsunami came. And I found that old man, and I told him, like, what happened, man? Like a plague of locusts, ran a frog. And he starts laughing hysterically because apparently there is a breed of insect on this island that lays its eggs and then all hatch once per year. And it happened to be that night that they all hatched. And because I was the only one back in the huts and I fell asleep with my light on, they all were attracted to the light.
Sure.
And while the bugs came, all the frogs are like, bug buffet. They all came to my hut. And then because the cats were annoyed by all these bugs, they went and hid in the trees and were complaining about it. Absolutely nothing was wrong except I left my light on the wrong night.
So not necessarily biblical plagues, but plagues of unfortunate events.
Yes. So I did survive the apocalypse, even if it wasn't real. Like I thought it was happening, and I faced it. I made an idiot of myself.
I love when you went to the bar, they're like, this dude's wasted. And then they see you on the beach, passed out, butt up naked. And they're like, yep, that dude was pretty wasted last night.
Legendary. Absolutely legendary.
Yeah, the only person on the island that doesn't drink now had the reputation of like...
And there's no way they believe that you're sober.
Yeah.
Well, I would share my screen to do the wheel again, but I'm encountering some connection issues. So I have to get into. We have to hear about something called $1 million in Taco Bell trash.
Yeah,
I have to hear about this.
So this is pre-traveling. This is when I was in high school.
Okay.
One day, my friend and I we got to leave campus for an off-campus thing, and we stopped at Taco Bell. This was in 1997 when the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie had come out.
Gonads.
And Taco Bell had
It's a quote from that movie.
Taco Bell had a contest where if you collected all the letters to spell Godzilla, you won $1 million.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But we were stuck in school all day. We didn't ever get to leave, so I didn't actually think about playing this game. But we got our food. My friend won a free taco, and I just got a stupid Z, and I was jealous, and I threw it in the trash.
Perfect.
One of those, back then, Taco Bell had those like talking trash cans, like thank you.
Oh yeah.
Toss it in the trash. But then because we were taking this internship, we ended up getting to leave and eat outside every single day. So we started going to Taco Bell regularly. And so I started collecting my pieces. So I got a G, I got an O, I got a D, I got an I got a couple of L's, and I got an A. And I'm like,
no.
Oh no. Oh no, I threw away the Z. Oh no. So all of a sudden I'm like, instead of going to Taco Bell like 3 times a week, we're going 3 times a day, and I'm gonna get me another Z. And it was like you could get it on a drink, or like they had just come out with the chalupa. So a large drink or a chalupa. The chalupas were not eating a lot of chalupas a day was not doing good things for me.
Fried tortillas.
So I started just like buying multiple large drinks, and they're like, you get free refills, right? I'm like, I said, give me another one. Hey, another damn A. And I'm going like so all day, every day, like going and buying more drinks. And then eventually I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I called 1-800 Taco Bell. And I'm like, look, let me tell you the story. This happened, this happened, this happened. I threw my Z in the trash can. What's my best bet to get? Like, should I be buying gorditas? Should I buy large drinks? Like, do you spread them out? Like, am I better going to one restaurant or going to multiple restaurants? And she pauses a moment and says, there's only one Z.
Yep. Yep. That's how they do it.
There was one Z, and I had thrown it in the trash can.
So if I can't have $1 million, no one can.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and this was weeks later. There was no like, let me go dig through the dumpster. No. Like it was just gone forever. Yeah. So for a long time, that was like this huge regret. But when I think about it now, I'm so happy that happened, because like all the stories I've told, everything about my life, like if that had happened, first of all, like I would have become an a-hole. Like you don't give a 16-year-old $1 million. Like it wouldn't have changed my life for the better. Like, but it would have like I wouldn't have gone to the college that I went to. I wouldn't have been needed to move to Korea to pay off student loans after that. I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have started traveling.
But you would have 6 DeLoreans.
Yeah. So the life I have is worth more than $1 million. So
absolutely.
That's kind of how I look at life now, is that like, there's no regret if you're happy with the butterfly effect of what happened.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I think that's a great way to end the story portion of the show. But one thing that we didn't get into the first time you were on that I was super, super interested in was the banned book club. And we didn't really get too much into that. And I've been tuning into your social media, and I see you're posting a lot about that. Do you have any kind of cool information that people can learn about this stuff? Because I know you're very involved. I'd love to hear some more about it.
Yeah, so Banned Book Club is a book that I wrote with my wife. I had known my wife for well over a decade. We've been married for years. I knew her as this like shy, quiet woman. And we're walking a mountain. She's like, oh, yeah, I met my friends from college yesterday. It was nice. It reminded me back when I used to be hunted by the cops for smuggling illegal books. And I'm like, wait, when you what? And she's like, oh, yeah, we were in a banned book club, and it was no big deal. And so I posted about this on social media. We were offered a book deal based on that post.
Wow.
And then every follow-up question I asked her, I started learning more and more. Because like a lot of people don't realize that like in the 1980s, Korea was a dictatorship.
Sure.
Because like after the Korean War, basically North Korea and South Korea were in the same place. Like there's this vacuum of power, and people were trying to claim it for themselves. It took like generations of people, reading banned books and fighting back to make Korea a free country. And so we made a book together. And it's wild because we started writing in 2017. And the main reason we're offered that book deal on social media was that at first the publisher thought my wife was from North Korea, because she was shocked at the idea that, like, isn't Korea a democracy? How could they be only 30 years away from having state-banned books?
Right.
And then in the 3 years it took to make the book, not only suddenly America's having 200 plus books banned per month, but almost immediately our book became one of them and started being banned across America. Our book has been banned in several school districts and several states. And yeah, I started traveling around the world, or traveling back to America, whenever my book was banned to kind of speak at the city council meetings, because like librarians are literally risking their safety and their careers to defend my book. So I'd kind of fly out and defend them. And I started like becoming pen pals with all my book banners, the people that were trying to get my books banned, and asked them like, hey, do you have any questions about the book? And like, oh, I haven't read it.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, and it's been a wild experience, like writing a book about history, and then all of a sudden it's like it's happening again to us.
Right.
Yes.
Right. When was the last time you were in America for that purpose?
It was a few years ago. I was hoping, I was supposed to be there last year with my wife. We were going to do a whole tour and go to some of the new places, but I decided it's not the best time to take my banned book writing foreign-born wife to the United States, so we canceled that trip. But I think the last time I spoke was when our book was banned in Kentucky. And that was a wild one because like previous ones I'd worked with local like activists and librarians and things. This time no one knew I was coming. I didn't know who to contact. And I just show up at this Kentucky City Council meeting to be like, hey guys, I think libraries are cool. And when I get there, I realize I didn't know that month's city council meeting was to vote on police salaries. So the entire police force, sheriff's office, firefighters, everyone is there in uniform, angrier than they've ever been in their life because their livelihoods are at stake. And I'm like, I came this far. I gotta go up and say libraries are cool. And so I go up there and I gave the speech about how like I talked about how they banned my book without reading it. And I'm like, not only not read the book, they don't actually read the cover, because alongside my book, they had banned Are You My Mother, the children's book about a baby bird trying to find its mom. And I'm like, I was trying to figure out why they could possibly have an issue with that. And it turns out they had confused it with Are You My Mother, a comic drama by Alison Bechdel, which is an adult book, because they didn't read past the first 4 words of the cover.
Of course.
And then when I had said that to the local politician, she's like, well, that was a mistake. But I heard that this library had Let's Talk About It, the Teen's Guide to Sex and Sexuality in the children's section. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. Let me go check. And I walked in the library and found out they had confused Let's Talk About It, Teen's Guide to Sex with Let's Talk About It, the Sesame Street Guide to Conflict Resolution.
Jesus.
Because again, they don't read past the first 4 words of the title to be like, hey, is Elmo on the cover?
Right.
And I'm saying this in all, like I look back and the entire police force is just stone-faced. And I'm like, as soon as I hit that gavel, I need to run. Like, I'm going to get a broken taillight. I'm going to like, something's going to happen. And it ends and I start booking it and I hear like footsteps behind me. And it's like, son, hold on a minute.
Oh shit.
And I turn around and it's the sheriff and he like moseys up to me and he gets like an inch from my face and he goes, don't tell anybody, but actually I'm on your side.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I don't like these book ban crazies. And then one by one, every single person in the room came to me individually, pulled me off to a secret spot and was like, I can't talk about this around here, but secretly I'm against book banning. And I'm like, if y'all would communicate. The only people who want these books to be banned drove in from Ohio because they were paid by a political group to do so. No one in this town wants this. Please stop. But yeah, that's like the kind of thing that I do is I try to go to these communities and kind of get the lay of the land and try and like show people that like who actually wants this? Are they from here? Do they have political motivations? Did they do the dumbest thing you could imagine and confuse a sex education book with a book about Elmo?
Yeah. Is your book on like a like list that just gets passed around kind of thing?
Yeah.
Where you're like, and what's their justification for banning your book?
Yeah, there's a lot of lists that people pass around that they've never read. And just if someone targets it in one place, someone like just grabs it from other places. A lot of book banners are now just having Chat GPT make lists for them. And so, a lot of people used to always say like, I wish my book would get banned, and I'd sell more copies. And it's like that is not the case. Not only are like readers not finding out your book's banned, authors often don't know their book's being banned. I know because like someone told me the first time and I got really nosy and like I started like searching information every day and like getting to know everybody involved. Like authors, I've met many authors who like think their book's never been banned, and they find out it's been like banned in 8 states or something. And the people banning the books don't even know what books they targeted because they just handed over a ChatGPT list. The only people that know all these books are the librarians who are literally being threatened with felonies for having a book on a shelf that one person complained about. But as far as justification, again, they haven't read it. They don't know. But like one of the documents that I read said that it'll turn Florida teens into violent Antifa anarchists, which was fun.
Okay.
Again, he hasn't read the book, and I'm like, there's a book about nerds who like to read, right? Like it's oh no, you don't know that because you haven't read it. But and some of them have just like there's this one of the biggest book banners has put me on a list of P&P authors, which is problematic and prolific, that just keeps putting out these dirty books. And yeah, it's and they've decided that I'm an enemy of the people. One of the funniest things is that I after doing a lot of these book talks and like speaking at city council meetings, I put out a guide for other authors who want to do that, and it was really about like killing them with kindness. Like you don't want to go in and start like throwing out accusations and being like y'all are Nazis, because I've been the ones where like the person before me is like y'all are Nazis, and like that probably true, but you're not gonna like the person you're calling a Nazi you're never gonna reach. They're not gonna change their mind, but you're targeting the people in the audience who see a person saying Nazi crap and then you speaking reasonably from a point of knowledge, and then you're convincing all those people. So I talk about killing with kindness. And how did the book banners report that? Author wants to kill parents.
Yep, exactly. So with all of this, because a lot of this seems like they're taking 4 words or maybe taking you out of context and using it against you, is there any kind of legal recourse that you could, or maybe not you, but anybody whose book's been banned, is there any recourse to that where you go, we need to go into a courtroom and you need to verbalize why this book is dangerous, why you're blocking people's, not only freedom, my freedom of speech as an author, but the general public's freedom to ingest any kind of material that they want? I mean, I don't support Mein Kampf, but it was written, and if you are interested in reading it, you should be able to. Right. So is there recourse that you can take?
Yeah. I mean, there have been lawsuits of people like, but the problem is that they often have to sue, like publishers have had to sue like school districts to get their book back in. But like, that's not who you want to, like, I don't want the school district to be punished. They're like the people that's going to affect are like the teachers and the students, because it's going to take money out of their budget. And then that's actually what a lot of the book banners are hoping for, because they're funded by people who profit from private schools. And or so by schools. making public schools look like horrible sins or dens of sin, and bankrupting them, but to deal with all this book banning stuff, they're making money for the people that support them. There are some of the book banners I know that are being sued by people, mostly librarians, that are suing them because they're like, some of these guys are basically like stalking librarians and like posting like horrible allegations about them, like hundreds of times per day, and calling them rumors and things. But yeah, it's really the thing about the people banning books is that they always every single generation of book banners has like their magic word that they think to justify it. Like in World War II, it was degenerate books, and then in my wife's day, it was communist books, and then in America, in the 80s, it was satanic books, and now it's pornographic books. It's never been true. Like in my wife's day, they were banning books about democracy because they didn't want people to read and be like, wait, is this what democracy is? You said we had this.
Right.
But nowadays, like, these people do interviews and be like, they have all these pornographic books, but I have access to their internal documents to see what they actually say about books. And another book that was banned alongside mine in Florida was the children's book about friendly cartoon bears called Zen Shorts. And that got banned because its message of radical empathy is incompatible with Christianity. It was banned because it's pornographic, because the cartoon bears were too kind.
Yeah, so it's not about sexuality. It's about, not going along with their beliefs and views of how society should be.
Yeah. And in every single one of these cases, it's about removing books about the type of people they don't want to have a voice in society. So that then kids go to libraries and like don't see themselves represented and think like, hey, if books about me are not acceptable for public, like, am I? Like, how do you know? And it's all about bigotry and hatred and all this stuff.
Tamping down individualism.
So I really just I wasn't an active. There was something I never really thought about before. I wrote this book because I'm like, someone's gonna pay me to write a book about how cool my wife is. Hell yeah!
Mm-hmm.
But then interviewing all these people about like who risked their lives for the freedom to read, and then seeing librarians and teachers risk their careers and safety to protect my book, I'm like, I gotta back everybody up.
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's amazing.
It's a really noble thing to do. And it's also, to go back to, it's not just about tamping down individualism. It's also about suppressing knowledge, because an intelligent and well-informed society is a danger to the people who are making all the decisions. And things like this are very, very important to talk about, especially right now with everything going on. And I just am really, really happy that we have somebody, like you and your wife and the librarians and everybody who's representing this cause, because what's next? If we can't read books, what's next?
It's usually not a good sign when they start to like book banning / burning. The next things are never good, right? And so history repeats itself. We've seen that, and so we can hopefully try to stop it.
Yeah, I had to I used to do like a talk about banned books whenever I talk, and I'd always talk about like looking at historical context. If this happened, this is what happened next. But then all those things happened, and I'm like, you already know about that. You know what happened next.
Yeah. Well, thank you for repeating history with us on this episode, coming back and telling us your stories. It's always a fun time. Obviously, anytime that you have anything you want to promote or talk about, we are open to have you back on and chat about anything you want to talk about, because it is truly a pleasure. So thanks for coming on. Do you want anything you want to plug or let the people know before we head out of here?
Yeah, just go to ryanestrada.com. You'll find all my work there, all my books, and then just thousands of pages of free comics you can read, because I'm a terrible businessman. And just check out Banned Book Club, the follow-ups, No Rules Tonight, and Good Old Fashioned Korean Spirit, and then so many other things.
Yeah. Check it out.
Amazing.
Give him a follow. Reach out to him if you have any, if you feel like you like his stuff and you like what he's doing. I'm sure he'll enjoy the share or the reach out. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And as always, bye.